Something is happening right now, in real time, that we haven't seen since the buildup to the first Gulf War. If you've been watching the open source flight trackers, you know what I'm talking about. The sky over the Atlantic is just full. It's turning gray. Not with clouds, but with the tails of US Air Force transport jets. This is an Armada gathering in the sky. And all signs, every single piece of intelligence points to one terrifying question. All right, so here's how we're gonna break this all down. We'll start with what kicked this all off, the Gray Armada. Then we'll get into the staggering numbers, specifically 112 Globemasters. We'll look at why a US supercarrier has literally vanished at sea and what the Air Force sledgehammer is being brought in to do. Most importantly, we'll connect this to the Maduro precedent, a playbook that might be about to run again. And finally, we have to talk about the risk of this whole thing igniting a regional fireball. So first up, let's look at what we can actually see. Analysts have already given it a name, the Gray Armada. It's this absolutely massive, unprecedented wave of military air traffic that has lit up OSINT networks around the world. What we're witnessing here is a coordinated, multi-domain operation unfolding right before our eyes. We have three main components confirmed by open source intel. In the air, you have this massive surge of C-17 Globemaster transports. At sea, the USS Abraham Lincoln supercarrier has gone completely dark. It's vanished from all tracking. And on the ground, squadrons of F-15E Strike Eagles are touching down in the region. Air, sea, land, everything is moving in lockstep. And this really gets to the heart of it. The question that is being asked in intelligence circles all over the world right now. Is this just a really, really big drill? A show of force? Or are we seeing the opening moves of another absolute resolve? The lightning-fast operation that toppled the Venezuelan government just 5 weeks ago. The parallels are, well, they're chilling. Now let's talk about the sheer scale of this airlift, because this is the first major red flag. We're talking about 112 Globemasters. To really get what that number means, you have to compare it to something like the Buildup to Desert Storm. 112. Just let that number sink in. That is nearly half of the entire strategic airlift fleet of the United States, all converging on a single area of operations in less than 48 hours. This is not a routine rotation. This is the logistical power you need to launch a major war. And to put this into perspective, let's look at history. The legendary Berlin airlift, that started with about 20 planes. The huge buildup for Desert Storm, which moved 500,000 troops, kicked off with around 60 heavy transports. This current surge, 112 C-17s, it just blows them both out of the water. We are in completely uncharted territory. So what kind of firepower are we talking about here? Well, a single C-17 can haul one M1 Abrams tank, or it can carry 3 Stryker armored vehicles, or an entire company of 102 paratroopers fully kitted out. Now, multiply any of those by 112. You're talking about the ability to move an entire armored division's worth of tanks in a single go. It's staggering. Let's be very clear. You do not move this much, this fast, for a simple resupply mission. This is the logistics for a day one knockout blow. The entire point is to support a campaign that achieves total air supremacy in the first few hours by taking out every single radar site, every missile battery, the whole integrated air defense network. Now it gets even more interesting, because while the skies are getting incredibly crowded, the seas have gone eerily quiet. And that brings us to the next big piece of this puzzle, the supercarrier that has just vanished. The USS Abraham Lincoln has gone into what's called EMCON, or emission control. You can just think of it as ghost mode. They have switched off everything. Their radar, their radio, their public transponders, all of it. The goal is to become an electronic ghost, totally invisible to enemy satellites and sensors. Which, of course, begs the question, why would one of the most powerful warships in the world need to hide? Why would this floating fortress go completely dark in one of the most watched pieces of ocean on the planet? Well, the answer lies in the very specific threat it's preparing to face. That threat is Iran's arsenal of carrier-killer missiles. We're talking about incredibly sophisticated weapons like the College Far's anti-ship ballistic missile. These things are designed for one purpose: to hunt and kill a moving aircraft carrier from hundreds of miles away. By going into EMCON, the Lincoln is trying to deny those missiles a target lock. It's a defensive move for sure, but it's the kind of defensive move you make right before you go on offense. So we've got the airlift for the Army and the ghost carrier for the Navy. Now let's talk about the tip of the spear. Let's talk about the Air Force's sledgehammer, the F-15E Strike Eagle. This quote just nails it. The F-115E, it's not a stealthy, nimble dogfighter. It was built to be a truck. A very, very fast truck that hauls almost 23,000 pounds of bombs deep into enemy territory to smash high-value targets. When you need to kick the door down, this is the sledgehammer you use. And we know exactly what these sledgehammers are carrying. The reports are confirmed. They are being loaded up with the GBU-28, a 5,000-pound laser-guided bomb. Its nickname? Deep Throat. It's a bunker buster, designed for one job and one job only: penetrating targets buried deep underground. Look, you don't arm 3 squadrons of Strike Eagles with bunker busters just for kicks. You do it because your target list includes things like hardened command centers and, critically, buried nuclear facilities. We're talking about infamous places like Fordow and Natanz, the very heart of Iran's nuclear program. The weapon tells you the mission. So, the airlift, the ghost carrier, the bunker busters, how does it all fit together? Well, to understand the strategy here, we have to look back just 5 weeks. We have to understand what many are calling the Maduro precedent. The Maduro precedent is this new strategic doctrine being talked about in Washington. It's a fundamental shift away from forever wars like we saw in Iraq and Afghanistan, and a move towards what they're calling finished wars. The idea is simple: use overwhelming force and intelligence to decapitate the enemy leadership in hours or days, completely sidestepping a long, bloody ground invasion. And when you compare the Venezuela operation to what's being set up for Iran, the playbook is almost identical. In Venezuela, it was surgical strikes. For Iran, it would be bunker buster strikes. In both cases, the goal is to leverage internal unrest. But the key difference here is the scale. What took a limited force for Venezuela now requires this big armada for Iran. And this isn't just us connecting the dots. The signals are coming from the very top. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, has publicly stated that this armada isn't just for deterrence. He said it's ready to move to active resolution at a moment's notice. The language couldn't be clearer. They are ready to flip the switch. But, and this is a huge but, applying this playbook to Iran is not the same as Venezuela, not even close. An attack on Iran would not happen in a vacuum. It could ignite a regional fireball with consequences that are almost impossible to calculate. You see, unlike Venezuela, Iran has what's called a ring of fire, a network of incredibly powerful and well-armed proxy forces across the entire Middle East. You hit Iran, and you could see immediate massive retaliation from Hezbollah in Lebanon, from the Houthis in Yemen, from militias inside Iraq. You could have a multi-front war erupt overnight. Make no mistake, if this happens, it won't be some small surgical strike. The sheer logistics we're seeing, those 112 C-17s, they point to a plan for the largest air campaign of the 21st century. The goal wouldn't just be to take out the leadership. It would be to systematically annihilate Iran's military and nuclear infrastructure so completely that they couldn't rebuild it for a generation. The stakes are that high. Which leaves us right here, on the edge of a knife. Is this the most complex, high-stakes bluff in modern history? A big armada designed to scare Iran back to the negotiating table? Or are we watching the final, quiet moments before the beginning of a war that will change the world? We are watching this story 24/7. The pieces are all in place. To make sure you get the latest updates on this as it develops, you need to hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. Because when this armada makes its move, we will be the first to let you know. Thanks for watching.